Good morning, Matt Waldman. I'd say happy week 12, but I don't know if it was. And week 13 is going to be here before we know it. As we got the Thursday games coming. Welcome to the Feel It or Fuck It podcast, everybody. I'm Bob Harris, and I'm fantastic. Matt Waldman, slightly less so, but he can't help it. He's eating still. We have all kinds of stuff going on. How are you today, Matt?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, for a Monday as all get out. But you know, what do you want me to say?
Whose parade are you raining on most? Whose parade have you rained on most in the last 12 hours?
I would say probably the state of Indianapolis of Indiana, the city of Indianapolis specifically, maybe.
The team of the Colts, perhaps.
I think that whole Colston Loveland thing that they were upset about is continuing to probably rear its fantastic hands.
Oh my! You do get the comments. You do get the comments on the X device. Follow Matt on the X device at Matt Waldman. By the way, follow me at Football Diehard. Same thing on the Blue Ski for both of us. So you'll find our work there as well as at Football Guys. Also find Matt at mattwaldman.com. He is the author of the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. I can tell you from personal experience, it's grand.
And you know what? We're going to have another one coming soon. In fact, we're going to have a pre-sale coming up Friday.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make Black Friday even darker because we know that the RSP at $21.95 is already like a Black Friday price, but we're gonna be offering it for $19.95 for a few weeks. So you can order early, get a discount. Usually, if you're new, that's what happens. The experienced subscribers, the ones who usually become subscribers for life, are like, fuck you, I'm not paying that discounted price, I'm paying the full price. And that'll be available sometime in probably late December, early January for all of you that I'm very thankful for.
Yeah, I ain't taking no stinking discounts, but the rest of you should gladly jump on board. It's a fantastic deal. It's a fantastic deal, like you said, at the regular price. Let's jump into the Feel It or Fuck It and get rolling on this. Woody Marks. The Texans beat the Bills on Thursday night. In case anyone missed it, they were feeling it. Woody Marks will remain the lead back for the rest of 2026. Feel it or fuck it.
Well, for next year, yeah, that's the question. For the rest of 2025, I'm there. For next year, I'd say fuck it. I like what I see from him. I think that he's quick. He certainly has good footwork. He can break some tackles. He's a good receiver out of the backfield. But I just wouldn't be surprised if the Texans are in a market for either another free agent giving Mixon a chance, or they get a guy to tandem with Marks. I don't know if they think Marks is really going to be that load carrier back, because they still go to Nick Chubb in short yardage. They still use him in relief.
That went well.
Chubb looks good when they have holes. And even when they don't have holes, he's done pretty good. It's when they have multiple points of penetration that are kind of difficult. But Chubb still got something there. This offense needs probably its offensive line first and foremost. So I could see them going with Mixon next year if he's healthy enough, and if he's not, they'll probably roll the same backfield out and have it be a tandem.
Yeah, we have no idea what's going on with Mixon. We heard reports that he will not be back this year. He clapped back and yelled at his agent online for that report being out there. So we'll see what's up with Joe Mixon. Always a unique character. Davis Mills. If he starts like he finishes, he'd be an elite quarterback. Feel it or fuck it.
Oh, totally feel it. I mean, the way he finishes games, he makes some awesome throws, daring throws, good decisions. His accuracy gets really sharp. But he's kind of like the early 2000s, mid 2000s era Pete Carroll Seahawks, which is that they looked like a college team usually in the first couple of quarters, and then in the second half they looked like no one could ever stop them. He is a slow starter, Davis Mills. The accuracy, the decision making, it's not there in the first quarter and a half. And then he kind of snaps into place. It's like, oh yeah, I'm in the NFL. I'm on the field. Let me calibrate.
Well, I'll say this: I'm still feeling bad that I missed some kind of. I feel like I missed some kind of fuck it joke on the multiple penetration points, but I'll let that go. Nico Collins is hospital ball proof? Feel it or fuck it.
Well, no, based on the fact of how he, based on the fact that he had to get up, he got up rather slowly on the hospital ball that they got him. But I would say that the defensive back, even though he put his licks in, it didn't feel too good to him either. So I'd say he's as close to that outside of A.J. Brown. But yeah, you still got to be careful with your receivers.
Yeah, just kind of put a little perspective on what Nico Collins is relatively. You mentioned A.J. Brown, or just in terms of where he's at in the hierarchy of NFL wide receivers.
I mean, I think he's a wide receiver one. Probably, I would still probably say that when everybody's healthy and functioning well, he's probably more of a low end wide receiver one. But I think he's what people want to believe T. Higgins could become in the right situation. I think Nico Collins is that. I don't think T. Higgins is quite that. So
okay,
yeah.
I'm just saying, when I see, I like to speed things, and he doesn't run the 4.3, but also it's really low 4.4, and he's very big. I like those things, the big and the fast.
Yeah, I mean, Bob. Would you rather have a Mini Cooper that's turbocharged, or would you rather have an 18-wheeler that's going 90 miles an hour? Yeah. Yeah.
All right, the Bills' passing offense is broken. Feel it or fuck it.
Feel it. They are definitely broken. But I don't think it's a hard fix, but I don't think it's an immediate fix either. You could just tell by the past 2 weeks they've got to throw to their backs. They've got to throw to their tight ends. And their backs are the ones that are getting the ball downfield. They don't have Dalton Kincaid, so they're really using the backs to kind of use vertical stretches with that, because they can't really rely on their receivers to win one-on-one in tight coverage. When teams play cover one against them, they can literally just have a spy at linebacker and spy Josh Allen, and if he can't find an open man immediately and the pressure gets there, the spies can come in and basically clean up the play. And we saw that a couple of times Thursday night, and I just think this offense spreading the wealth, they took it too far.
I think as somebody who had played Ty Johnson in at least one league, I'm kind of grateful for that. Kind of grateful. Yes, had to would be the operative term. So it seems like the sure fix for anybody in need of an instant help at wide receiver, you dip into the Ohio State well, is Carnell Tate. Could he fix what ails the Bills?
Yes, I absolutely feel that. Watching him for the first time yesterday, I watched about 7 games, studied them in depth, and Carnell Tate, I honestly think that somebody should investigate the Ohio State program, because I think, and somebody should be checking out Justin Jefferson's habits during the week and make sure that he's not moonlighting as Carnell Tate, whoever that guy is, on Saturdays before he does his Sunday gig with the Minnesota Vikings while he's getting an advanced degree. Might be a little more satisfying
doing some actual work on Saturdays compared to what he's doing on Sundays.
It might be, but this kid reminds me of Justin Jefferson. Route-wise, ability to go up and win the ball, how he positions himself to win the ball, his willingness as a blocker and skill as a blocker in line, like against linebackers and safeties, as well as in the open field. I'm super impressed with this guy, and they need an alpha receiver. Whether they thought Keon Coleman would somehow fit into that or become that, I mean, he was going to be a Mike Thomas version of an alpha at best. Not an outside alpha, probably. And so this guy, Tate, can be that, and it would give the Bills a coverage beater when they play C1. Defenses wouldn't be able to play man-to-man and dominate as well as they are right now with Josh Allen. And then it would help to spread the wealth scheme that they have with everybody else, because everyone else would benefit from the fact that they had a matchup guy in Dalton Kincaid in the middle of the field or on one side, or you want to use him in the intermediate area of the field. He can do that. But Tate can give you the guy who takes the top off of the defense, but also can win tough all over the place. He is so good at the boundary. I'm super impressed with Carnell Tate. I think he's probably one of the better wide receivers I've watched in the past 5 to 6 years, up there with guys like what I saw with Luther Burden, maybe not quite as high as I saw with Malik Neighbors, but he would have been up there with Roma Dunze for sure.
I have a Dynasty draft later today.
Yeah.
How soon should I take him?
Number 1.
Okay.
Yeah. I would take him number 1. I don't know who the running back, I know people like Jeremiah Love. I think that's who it is. I'd take Carnell Tate right now.
Interesting. All right, Caleb, John Metchie, the new Jets, the wide receiver 1, apparently, at least until Garrett Wilson returns, or maybe he's adding on Mitchell. Do you believe in John Metchie the third?
No, fuck that for like the level of him being something that people thought pre-draft. I think I watched all his targets this morning, and a lot of it were 2-man route combinations where he was schemed open or things over the middle. He runs some good underneath stuff, and that's pretty much what you get him with. But when they asked him to be the primary guy on a 4th and 2 and run against single coverage, he couldn't get open. And that's really not his deal and never really was his deal anyway. So if you need him as a deep desperation flex, right, I could probably give you 3 or 4 guys ahead of him that I would choose, but he's on the list.
I thought it was interesting that he and Mitchell were the guys on the field constantly in this game. I mean, they're Adonai Mitchell. They were essentially the wide receivers 1 and 2. I'm sure, obviously Garrett Wilson is still there, but these guys are going to get a good test run down the stretch. And I think the encouraging part of that entire comment you just had on this was that Tanner Engstrand schemed somebody open. Wow.
That's like true. You could, this offense, when you take the S out of stank, it says tank. And I think that's what's going on here.
Fair enough. Caleb Williams' accuracy is an alarming problem. Feel it or fuck it.
Oh, fuck that. I know that I think the problem is this. It's a matter of perception, and I understand the perception, but it's kind of jacked up. What happens is this. If you remove the dropped passes from his completion percentage, it's pretty good. It's probably closer to 65%. From what I know of people who've done that exercise, who I trust. The problem is that when he's inaccurate, it isn't pretty. It looks like, it looks bad. So if you look at the completion percentage and then you look at the throws where he was inaccurate, you go, God, it's alarming that this is bad. And that was the same thing with Lamar Jackson in college. But then when you look at the throws that his receivers dropped or misran routes, which is common still. I saw DJ Moore do another one this week, I believe, on a deeper route where he adjusted late and shouldn't have made that adjustment. The accuracy is not nearly as bad. If Matthew Stafford did and has done what Caleb Williams is doing right now, people would, you'd only have a few people who would probably comment about that. Most people would say, oh, well, Stafford's a good quarterback and he just had some bad throws here. It happens. Well, with Caleb Williams, they're not letting it happen because he hasn't had enough equity built up yet for that to occur. But I'll just say this, he had 3 touchdowns yesterday. The Steelers defense Aaron Rodgers doesn't play defense. So, you look at the Steelers defense and
he's pretty defensive at times.
He can be, but that's all right. He played.
Some would say offensive.
He did play defense for Marshawn Lynch early in his career, apparently, and Marshawn Lynch is forever grateful that the coach didn't bench his ass because of what he did. But I would say that at the end of the day, the Steelers were able to get pressure on Williams. They did a good job of limiting the run. The Bears' run game has been so good, and they were limiting it just like they limit the Indianapolis Colts run game a few weeks ago. So, but the difference was that Caleb Williams has some weapons. He made some timely throws, and he has a tight end that he can throw against man coverage who's going to win it and who can make some dynamic plays in the middle of the field, and that worked out well. And Monangai actually ran pretty hard. So, this team battled, And that's what they've been doing all year. So it's a great sign because usually what happens with teams where there's a quarterback who's not very good is the team battles, they get close to the end, and the quarterback always finds a way to fuck it up. And where with Caleb Williams, the team battles, Caleb will make a mistake here and there, and then after he's made the mistake, he's like lights out at the end and helps his team lead to a victory. And he does make minimal mistakes, at least statistically from what we're seeing. So no, I mean, I'm not alarmed at all by the inaccuracy. It will get better. He's also taking on a lot. So when you're thinking and you're maybe processing is a little bit slower, your accuracy is going to look bad, even if baseline-wise in a vacuum, it's really good and will get better once you get acclimated to the system you're in.
Yeah, realizing we're in a, what have you done for me last 30 seconds kind of world. We should all be mindful that Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson are at the beginning of a long process that hopefully bears fruit over the course of many years. And I believe it will, as long as they develop together. They spend time. I think Ben Johnson's done all, we've talked about it, I think all year, just the tough coaching, taking no nonsense, asking him to be accountable for the things that he doesn't care for. All that's been well, and it's still, the process is ongoing. And if the results, like on a day that people are going to be complaining, are 3 touchdowns, sign me up for some more of that.
Yeah, and from what I was on a Bears show recently, the TTNL, Tate Never Lies Network, those guys are great. And Phil and Shane and I were talking about Caleb, and they said, listen, what people took out of context is that Ben Johnson said it would be nice, it would be great if he could hit 70%.
Sure.
That
high goals.
But it took Jared Goff 3 seasons to hit that mark.
Correct.
And Jared Goff also had another 5 seasons before of playing time in the NFL to learn a West Coast offense. Caleb's doing all this in year 2. So I think folks need to calm down just a slight bit, but they won't.
You invoked the name of Kyle Monangai. Does he have a future as the Bears starter in 2026? Or how about week 13?
I think we should stick to week 13, honestly, and say that I'm feeling the possibility there. But I would say right now, I'm sort of feeling 2026. I could see him being paired with somebody and that they get rid of DeAndre Swift and keep Monangai because he seems to get better every week. He's doing better in pass pro. He's doing better as a receiver. We know what he can be as a runner. I think there's reason for optimism there, but I don't think he's going to be the lead back.
In the short term, though, he played more snaps than Swift for the first time this season, a game where they were both available, and he led the team in carries. And I think this is going to be a thing where you can play them both, and somebody's going to disappoint you any given week. The Bears' schedule does us no favors going forward. It's going to be tough for the runner. It's going to be tough for everybody. So
3-4 defenses are good ones for Monangai because they're not as good against the run up the middle normally, unless they're just they have a dominant middle. But I'd say the Steelers are better at covering the outside.
So I hired on as conductor of the Colston Loveland hype train early last month. I'm here to invite you on board, Matt, doing my job. Loveland is the best rookie tight end in this class. Feel it or fuck it.
I appreciate that. That was a really good way of posing that whole thing, I would say. That was awesome. I'll get out from under the
baby victory lap.
Yeah, I'll get out from under the engine with my wrench and and see what my work looks like. No, that would be another way of bullshit. But no, I mean, yeah, I think he's still the tight end number 1. You can see every week he's making impact plays as a blocker, as a route runner, as a receiver, and he's just becoming more and more reliable in this offense in the way that Caleb Williams is relying on him more and more, and Ben Johnson's feeling confident, calling his number in big play situations. I mean, this guy, I think he and Brock Bowers will probably be if they can stay healthy 10 years from now, they're going to be the aging guys in the room who can still give you top 5 production at any given year, like Kelsey and Kittle. I think they're the Kelsey and Kittle of this era.
Or the Casper. The Dave Casper this year.
The Dave Casper. Yeah, or the Ozzy and Winslow,
Yes, we're going back. welcome to the
Dave
future.
Casper,
Kid.
the ghost of the post.
All right, then. Jordyn Tyson, ASU wide receiver, in the same tier as Carnell Lake. Feel or fuck it?
Fuck it. Don't believe that. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who feel like he's the number one wide receiver. But from what I've seen right now, and I've watched enough of him this weekend that I would say he's very good. He is absolutely capable of becoming a number one wide receiver in the NFL. He is likely an immediate starter, which is great. So for fantasy purposes, if you're Bob Harris, you won't give a fuck the difference between Carnell Tate and Jordyn Tyson probably, except over the course of time. I would say that Tyson's a good route runner, but the difference between him and Carnell Tate is that Tate understands how to use that patience and suddenness with his movements the way you watch Devontae Adams at the goal line and watch how he baits defenders and he makes it look so easy. That's craft that Tate has more of than Tyson. Tyson has all the moves, but doesn't understand how to execute them yet. So I think he can get there. But
I'm going to be a Tate guy because he's bigger. I'm guessing he might be fast too. I'll have to look into this. I haven't done all my study yet.
Tate supposedly I think is 195, whereas Tyson's 200. But Tate is 6'3".
Exactly, yeah, Tyson 6'2".
Yeah, and I know that inch makes a difference, but but I would say
my evaluation goes past the inches to the tenths of seconds. I'll let you know how it comes out
for sure. But I also think that Tate is a better pass catcher in tight coverage. I think Tyson has really great moments, but I would say that of some of the top receivers I've seen thus far, Tyson would not be at the top of my list. He'd be at the bottom of that short list of top receivers when it comes to reliability of hands. There's times where he tries to use one hand when he should use two. There's times that he fights the ball because he has those little clap episodes. Tate has really good hands and tracking and massively impressive positioning at the football on some of the plays that he makes. Again, I don't normally say where I would rank a player overall this early, but I would be shocked if there's another receiver that I will grade who will be as good as Tate.
All right, so you're not loving Tyson. Let's ask this: Malakai Lemon, USC wide receiver, who's not as big. Could he offer similar upside to Tyson, even if their games are different?
I would say I'm feeling that based on landing spot, because I think Jordyn Tyson is more the traditional big play primary looking receiver physically and what he does well. So the upside for him is higher because there's more ways for him to become that type of player in most offenses. But if you could find a team that said, we're going to adopt the Ben Johnson system and we want an Amon-Ra St. Brown type of player, I think Malakai Lemon can be that. I think he has that upside. I think he and Carnell Tate have the best hands of the top receivers I've seen thus far. The dude is automatic, and his technique is just so spotless. He is good against physical play, very tough at the catch point. I would say as good as Carnell Tate in that regard. He's a decent route runner. He's not as dynamic of an athlete, and that's what limits him. So you could see how the floor for him could be what we saw from Parker Washington yesterday, which is pretty damn good.
Yep.
But we think of Parker Washington as a reserve who's contributing and probably giving you wide receiver 3 production that you're hoping for, and if it does more, that's great. That's the floor for Malakai Lemon if he lands in the wrong spot. But I think the ceiling for him is higher than that, and I think I'd say the baseline for him is higher than that, and the ceiling is Amon-Ra St. Brown level type of stuff.
All right, let me reach into my meat locker and grab some of the red meat for you here, Matt. Jacoby Brissett, his weekly work with Michael Wilson is another indictment of Kyle Murray. feel it or fuck it. Let me get out of the way.
Yeah, I think it is. I'm totally feeling that, because then what comes out in the broadcast, this weekend was Michael Thomas talking about how Jacoby Brissett every week sends him clips from receivers around the league running routes and says, "This is where I want you to break the route. This is where I want to see you attack the ball. This is where I'm going to put the ball out of a route like this. These are the types of things I want you to look at and do, because I think you're capable of these types of things." And Michael Wilson is like, "I've never had that level of communication here." So what that says is, Kyler Murray, get off the fucking video games, get in the batting cages, and prepare for your new career. But no, I mean, I just think that Brissett is a veteran, and it's great that he is someone that takes the time to do these things. But good quarterbacks do that. I mean, Peyton Manning used to do that with Demaryius Thomas about, here's where where do you want the ball thrown to you? He would take the time to ask that question and then say, all right, well, then if that's the case, then I need you at this spot, at this point, at this step. And he would be that specific about it. And it opened up Demaryius Thomas's game from being kind of a wide receiver 2-esque sort of player with big plays who was boom bust to a perennial wide receiver 1 during the Peyton Manning era in Denver. And you look at Michael Wilson, and I mean, shoot, if you didn't have a holding call on Xavier Weaver, he would have had another day over 130 yards in that game. 110 was still pretty damn good, or 118 or whatever it was this week. 10 for 118, I think it was. I mean, that's still good. But he had a crossing route that was nullified on 3rd and 12 that he gained 18 on. But for that penalty, I mean, they're connecting. He gets open in tight coverage. He gets open downfield on contested plays. He can give you some yards after the catch. He's a wide receiver 1 if you need him to be, and he should be like one of the top wide receiver 2s in the league. I mean, if this guy were in Cincinnati, I would say he's better than T. Higgins. And I know that there are a lot of people, and I like T. Higgins, even though I've spent years talking about him as more of a wide receiver too. I think Michael Wilson would probably be just above T on my list because of the value that he has to be able to do a little bit more than what T can do.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, this is become a funnel under Jacoby Brissett with no Marvin Harrison. We'll see what happens. It's Trey McBride. It's Wilson, 33 targets over the last 2 games. That's a lot of targets, people. Like if your running back had 33 carries after 2 games, you'd be pretty happy with that.
This is like Rico Dowdle for wide receiver shit going on right now. It would be very satisfying,
right? So yeah, I'm on board with this one as well. And good luck in your future endeavors, Kyler. Although Jacoby Brissett probably not the long-term answer there for Minnesota either. So Shedeur Sanders proved he should have been starting all along. Feel it or fuck it.
Oh, fuck that. He wasn't
Come
bad.
on.
He wasn't bad.
Come on.
He wasn't bad, but I mean,
come on.
No, there's no.
Tell everyone he should have been a first-round pick.
There's no conspiracy theory with any of that.
ESPN will be elevating him to sainthood here in about the next half hour, I think.
Well, when you think about the narcissistic behavior of what ESPN actually is on their morning talk shows, then of course he would be a saint. He would be Saint Narcissist. He would be Saint the son of Saint Narcissist. At this point. No, but I mean, look, Shedeur made some good throws downfield. There was a beautiful throw that he made to Isaiah Bond on a cover 0 blitz where he rolled out to the right and had time. He found his check downs a fair bit. But the problem is that the Browns give up a lot of pressure. He's not as athletic as his father. He's more of a, think of like young Kirk Cousins. He's kind of a young Kirk Cousins in terms of movement. He's kind of a young Kirk Cousins overall, which means he could become a legitimate starting quarterback in the league. And the Browns were just hoping to redshirt him for a year so that he could kind of sit, not have to deal with the spotlight, kind of mature a little bit away from the field. because there are certainly some issues there that we've known about. Yes, and they would go from there, but it didn't work out that way. And he got his first week of practice, and he played well with what the Browns were able to give him, but they weren't able to give him much. And fortunately, you don't need much against the Raiders. And you look at that game, and there was, quick game, he did fine. Set deep balls, he did fine. But I'm still, nothing he did jumped off the page for me to go, oh, wow, he definitely deserved this. No, he got his opportunity, and he did okay, and there's room for growth there. And did I think he was better than Dylan Gabriel as a talent? Absolutely. That I believe. But first round pick, no. Third round pick, I would have taken him in the third round.
I do think it's fair to. I mean, as part of he should have been starting all along. He should have been starting ahead of Dylan Gabriel, perhaps all along.
Yeah, I could see that in terms of ability, but in terms of what we don't see behind the scenes, okay. Which is one thing we saw is 2 speeding tickets in a month. Mm-hmm. Also, when they ask you about what's going on and you're a rookie and you're supposed to be a leader and a team player, you start lips, just saying things without using your voice because you basically want to imply that this is a shit show that I'm in. And I know it's the Cleveland Browns and it's a shit show. We know this. I mean, they're even sponsored by what dude wipe type of thing. So I mean, you could appropriately call them a shit show now. But the problem is that you've got to be the leader, and part of being a leader isn't doing that kind of manipulative garbage. And I think that the team knew that, the coaches knew that, and they wanted to give him a year to kind of let him grow up a little bit and hope that he would.
Maybe the Wolf could help him out here. Is Harold Fannin the Winston Wolf of the Cleveland Browns?
Fuck yes, he is. Jesus Christ, that dude. 3rd and 12. There was a 3rd and 12 in this game, and it's just totally befitting of his season. This is his season in a nutshell. 3rd and 12. Raiders drop back, I think, in a cover 3 or cover 6. The whole width of the field and depth of the field beyond 15 yards is absolutely covered by, and the receivers there's nothing to throw there. And then Fannin makes his delayed release because that's part of what he does on it seems like every other play. They have a little delayed release over the middle, and they're backed up in their own end zone. So Shedeur is probably throwing the ball like, well, we'll at least have room to punt because that's what I'm doing here. And then Fannin basically runs through the line like 3 linebackers and a cornerback, and safety tries to help out, and he ends up getting the first down on the play. And I mean, that's what it seems like he does this on every other catch, which is at least break 2 tackles or 3 and get more yards than you would expect. Now we just need to get him an offense to be in. And
led by Shedeur Sanders.
Sure, why not? If we can get some offensive line help and give him a full off season and he doesn't get into any trouble or act like a doofus, then fine. I'm good with it.
Seems like a lot of moving pieces there, Matt Waldman. J.J. McCarthy's accuracy is the least of his worries. Feel it or fuck it.
I feel it. At least last week, I feel it because actually he made some really nice throws. There was a cover 2 beater that he threw just over the linebacker's reach and under the safety to Justin Jefferson that was magnificent. He had another throw early in the game on a dig route or an in-breaking route that was low and in front of Jefferson so that he could make a sliding catch away from the oncoming defender. He made some really nice throws in this game. Some, not a lot. But the inaccuracy wasn't as big of an issue, even though he missed a screen to Jones that could have been, he threw it in the wrong direction, basically, behind Jones. And he had a couple of throws like that. The biggest problem is that he took 5 sacks, and 4 of them were in the black zone, and they were all avoidable. And a couple of them, he really tried to play hero instead of just throw the ball away after the first read isn't open. And this was a problem with him at Michigan. In his own red zone, in the opponent's red zone, he had difficulties managing the game and not playing hero ball. And it would usually lead to mistakes, interceptions and sacks usually, or turnovers of some sort. And here we were again. He was pushing too hard with this, and he's got to learn to manage the game better, because as his accuracy is an issue at times this year, the best thing you can do is keep your team in the game, and he wasn't doing that because of his desire to try and make something big happen.
Patience can be a virtue, Vikings fans. I'm not sure if you'll have much of that with this young man, but
aren't they all Norwegians up there anyway? Aren't they patient people?
I don't know. I'll ask.
They're quiet people.
I'll ask Miss Football Diehard, who hails from that region.
You can't tell a Norwegian, or was I don't remember the phrase. I don't remember something. I'll have to ask one of my editors. His wife is Norwegian as well, and he always told me this joke.
All right then. Well, let's call it a week and prepare for some giving of thanks and more football on Thursday. Triple header. We got a Black Friday game. I know you're all on board with that. I know you love the whole Black Friday thing, right? That seems like you're late. Feel it or fuck it, Black Friday.
Feel it for the rookie scouting portfolio this year. I mean, if I'm going to be mercenary about it, then
there I set you up.
Then yes, I'm feeling that. Go to mattwaldman.com on Friday. You will get to prepay, and I'm telling you, if you're new to this, you will. Seriously, you'll be pleasantly shocked. It's, I'm kind of low on the bullshit angle of things, as people know. So, when I say this with all sincerity, it's probably the best thing I do in the space of things that I do here, and most readers literally are blown away the first time they get it, because they hear the hype and they write me. It's like, I heard about the hype. I waited for 3 or 4 years to finally buy it, because I kept hearing it couldn't be that good from what I keep hearing from people, and I got it, and I'm a customer for life. This is great. I can't believe, and then it's usually, I can't believe you charge this little for it. So, go and check it out. I'm not going to be right about everything, that's for sure. But I'm going to give you good logic and explanation about, rooted in football and in film, that it gives you ideas about where they could be, where the potential sticking points are, why they might not get there, and give you some ideas about where to be able to scope value out of those situations. So,
and it's useful over the course of time, especially if you're a Dynasty player. I go back and, just in doing my research for articles and working on players, I will go back multiple years. I keep them all on hand. I think I have every single one of them. And so it's a very useful tool for those of us who do what we do, and also for those of you who play fantasy football and people who just love football. It's fantastic. It's kind of in-depth stuff. And when you say it's the best thing you do, I'll say it's the best thing you do on the field. I know you do one or two things off the field as well. But that's for another time. That's it for this week's episode of Feel It or Fuck It. We'll be back next week.
We're thankful for you.
What happened in week 13.
We're thankful for you and
Are
Thanksgiving. We? Yeah, you too, Bob Harris. We're thankful for you as well. I might even kidnap you on a Thanksgiving day one day. So we'll see.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.